Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing a review for TMNT, the 2007 film. And this movie stars the voice acting talent of Chris Evans, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Mako, Kevin Smith, Patrick Stewart, Ziyi Zhang, Lawrence Fishburne, Mitchell Whitfield, James Arnold, Taylor Mikey Kelly, Nolan North, John DiMaggio, Paul Mattioli, Kevin Michael Richardson, Fred Tatasciro, sorry, and let's see, where was I? Um, yeah, and that's it for him. And yeah, and that's basically it. So yeah, before I begin though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those who have yet to actually watch this movie and haven't already. Stop the video, go check it out, and come back here and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch this movie and haven't already, please do comment down below or be messaging me. Then never give you a fair warning because as usual I did. So as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So yeah, so this film's a bit different. It's technically part of the original TMNT movies. So those are which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 1990s, Secret of the Ooze from 91, and number 3 from 1993. So this is supposed to take place right after the 1993 Turtles. There is some debate, but for the most part, it's widely accepted that this takes place right after the 1993 Turtles. And it's animated. So yeah, despite there being some huge contradictions between the original trilogy and this movie, such as Casey Jones and April O'Neil's jobs, for example, and how the Turtles are afterwards. It's technically still part of the original TMNT series. So basically, you have Leonardo after the events of TMNT 3. It appears that he went into training, and he goes to Brazil and to become a better leader. There's been some incidents recently in New York regarding these mystical animals, basically, these unworldly, unearthly animals, basically. And you have Raphael, he knows about them. He's the Night Watcher. He kind of knows about them, but he doesn't really know what's going on. April O'Neil and Casey Jones know more about it because they brought these stone statues to this one guy, Winters, and it turns out that Winters is this immortal godlike figure, and that these statues he's bringing are his brothers and sister, 3 brothers and 1 sister, 4 statues, and yeah, Leonardo does come back to New York. He tries to become a better leader. There is that clash that we all know between Raphael and Leonardo. Why'd you leave? How dare you be such a brute, etc., etc., etc. And basically, these statues turn on Winters. Winters wants to die, basically, because he's like, I've had enough of this life. I want to die. These statues are like, not really. We want to kind of rule the world, so fuck you. So yeah, now it's basically a mission to stop these statues from ruling the world, and saving Leonardo at the end because Leonardo gets captured. So yeah, okay, this is probably gonna be a bit off topic, but the video game that came with this movie, the DS video game, was actually really good in my opinion. I played the shit out of that video game, and I actually really enjoyed the video game. And yeah, I mean that kind of segues to what I'm about to say. And basically, the animation, it's kind of weird. I'm not really used to it, to be honest. It's kind of like video game animation, I suppose. It's like that type of animation that you would expect for a video game, I suppose. There are parts where it does seem a bit unfinished, like not completely. It's not like completely blurry or just messy or whatever. But there are times where it could be a bit more defined. The animation could be a bit more defined. So I will say that I feel like the animation does falter a bit, maybe, and it does kind of have like that kind of video game type of feel. So yeah, as for the movie as a whole, it's an interesting plot. Winters and these stone generals are not from the comics, not from what I know. This is their first introduction into the TMNT canon. In my opinion, it's actually really good. I feel like they are really good villains in my opinion. I feel like as a whole, they are some pretty interesting villains and how they do it. I feel like they kind of say that the creatures are trying to capture are kind of unearthly. I feel like if they would have, let's say they would have gotten a sequel, I feel like if they would have tried to connect it to like Krang or Dimension X, because we do have the Rock soldiers in Dimension X. I feel that would have been really interesting and really cool to see where that would have gone. So yeah, and that's kind of what I was picturing. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's a pretty good movie. I mean, it is a bit generic at the same time. It's good, but a bit generic. You know, turtles fighting each other. Turtles now have to try to take out this unearthly or unworldly beings or creature or whatever, and try to save the day. Try to save April and Casey and Splinter. And yeah, I mean, they've kind of gone through that like a lot of times versus Krang, the Triceratops. And this is just kind of another Dread, right? Lord Dreg, I believe is his name from like seasons 8, 9, and 10 of the original 1980s TMNT. So they've gone through it that many times. So yeah, I mean, I feel it's kind of for as far as TMNT lore goes, it is a bit of a cliche plot, but at the same time, I do like the characters they kind of brought into this. Some of the monsters were pretty cool. You had like this little devil. Like they do admit that some of these like if you see like Q&As or whatever, they do admit that these some of the creatures they have here were inspired by real life legends or whatever. So you have like this little devil based on the Jersey Devil. You have this big one giant white monster based on the Yeti. So I mean, you do have some pretty cool monsters. Like the monsters actually look pretty cool in my opinion. So yeah, you have a gargoyle type of a monster. So yeah, overall that was pretty cool. Night Watcher, Raphael as Night Watcher, that was pretty cool. We haven't really seen that up until now ever. Aside from the TV shows, I think. But movie wise, we never actually saw that, so that was pretty cool. Um, yeah. I do wish, and this has nothing to do with. It doesn't have to do with the movie itself, but more not that they are canon. I kind of wish that they would use the characters like these characters like Winters and these Stone Soldiers like in other TMNT lore, because aside from the video game that came out with this and this movie, I haven't really seen them in anything else. I haven't seen them in the recent 2012 animated TV show. Then again, I'm not caught up, but as far as I know, they're with the Triceratops at this point. For like seasons 3 and 4, they've been with the Triceratops, from what I know. I mean, like, or maybe even in the comics, I kind of wish they would have just included them somehow. I wish they would just give more nods, because I do feel like as far as TMNT lore goes, I feel like they are maybe one of the most underrated characters, because they are actually pretty good. They are pretty interesting in my opinion. So I do feel like they are a bit underrated. I mean, you do have you have a bunch of villains when it comes to TMNT lore, from Rat King to Leatherhead, to Scrag and whatever. And I do feel like you have like even Scrag. He was like a minor character in the original series. Okay, he is maybe one of the most minor characters in the original series. Okay, and appearing in maybe like less than 20 episodes, if even maybe even less than 10. And he has a bigger following than these, who had a full movie, okay? And I mean, I guess that just goes to, you can argue nostalgia, but still, I mean, I'm just saying, I feel like these are really underrated. When you have other characters like Scrag that appears like in 5 minutes of the first episode, and that's it, and doesn't appear for like another 3 seasons. And the fact that he has a bigger following than these Stone Soldiers and Winters, I feel like that's kind of fucked up. Um, yeah, so I do kind of wish that these characters would have a bigger following as far as TMNT lore goes. But that's nothing really on the movie itself. That's just really the fan base as a whole. So I'm not gonna dock points on that. I'm just gonna. I mean, if I wanted to dock points, I'd be talking on the fan base. Like, what the fuck. So yeah. Um, the animation's pretty good. A bit could be a bit more defined at times, but that's good. The action, that's it's pretty good. TMT, I like the banter between Raphael and Leo and the rest of the turtles. That was all pretty good. I like how everything kind of rounds out at the end. And yeah, if they would have had a sequel, I kind of wonder how that would have gone. At would this have been a different series, or would they have connected it to the original trilogy? Would it have been TMNT 2? So now we know those are two separate universes, or would they have done a TMNT 5 or some shit like that? or TMNT Return of the Ooze or some, I don't fucking know. Um, really interested if they would have had a sequel, how that would have turned out. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I really like this movie. And as far as TMNT goes, I feel like this is a bit underrated in my opinion. I feel like no, not like forget like movies, animated movies. I understand that, but for TMNT lore as a whole, I feel like this is a bit underrated. Like the characters, like the Stone Soldiers, are a bit underrated. I just feel like nobody talks about it. I feel like there's the original trilogy, and then there's the two Michael Bay movies, and I feel like TMNT, the animated one, this one, is like it's just since it's kind of there in between. It's not technically part of the original trilogy, and it's sure as hell not part of the Michael Bay. It's kind of just there, like standalone. It's like, hey, oh yeah, guys, I'm here by the way. Want to watch me? I feel like it's a bit underrated in my opinion. And I feel like it's possibly the second or third best Ninja Turtle movie we have out of the 6 movies we have. I think it's within the top 3 in my opinion. TMNT, the original Ninja Turtles, then this one actually in my opinion, um, and then maybe Out of the Shadows in my opinion, or Out of the Shell or whatever it's called. So which I need to review by the way. So overall, still a good movie. Really underrated as far as TMNT stuff goes. In general, like forget the movies. Like in general, like fuck. Even the Next Mutation has like okay, everybody who knows TMNT hates the Next Mutation, but we know more about the Next Mutation than like people are more aware about the Next Mutation than this shit. Okay, people are more aware about the rock musical they have on Broadway than this movie. Okay, which is kind of sad. Like people know more about the worst shit that TMNT's been in than this movie, which is actually one of the better things in TMNT in my opinion. So yeah. I will say though, the video game counterpart to this has a huge fucking following. I'll say that much. The video game counterpart to this has maybe one of the biggest followings in TMNT. As far as this goes, like especially for like the Ninja Turtles games, like it has maybe the one of the biggest followings after like Turtles in Time and whatever. It has like the video game has definitely has one of the biggest followings, which is kind of funny because the movie has like no following as far as TMNT goes. So sucks. So yeah, 7 out of 10, and yeah, it's basically it for now. Subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Martz signing off.